Let's talk assistant manager chip in FPL and all the chips with our best chip strategy going forward from FPL Game Week 24 onwards. Obviously, with the double game week being on this week, we're going to be discussing the 2 double game week managers in Arne Slot and David Moyes and potential other assistant managers later down the line that you could maybe be considering. I'm discussing the triple captaincy chip this week as well because a lot of people might be considering using their triple captaincy chip as well. If you're an FPL fan, you're not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're doing. We do daily FPL content, so if you want to be up to date with all the latest FPL news and content, hit subscribe on this channel, and if you don't mind dropping a like down below as well, it'd be very much appreciated. So we've got to start things off by talking about David Moyes. Now, imagine if the assistant manager chip was in game week 23, because David Moyes picked up 19 points. He got a table win bonus, and if you don't know what a table win bonus means, it just means you get an extra 10 points to a win. You normally get 6 points, but for a table bonus win, when you beat a team that is 5 places above you in the table or more, you then get an extra 10 points to win. So David Moyes getting 16 points for the win. Then then Everton scoring a goal, he got an extra point. You get 1 point per goal which your team scores. So then he got 17 points, and then he got a clean sheet for Everton as well, which means he gets another 2 points, meaning that he came in with 19 points. That's the highest score out of any other manager. 19 is ridiculous. Imagine if we just had the assistant managership one day early and you played it on David Moyes, you'd be absolutely loving life right now. But it's definitely something to be considering now. He's definitely a lot more of a consideration after that performance from Everton. And we're looking at the fixtures with David Moyes coming up. He has a favourable fixture in the starting double game week game against Leicester, where you would expect Everton to be winning that game because Leicester are pretty catastrophic at the moment. Things are going wrong at Leicester. A lot of problems with Ruud van Nistelrooy and some of the players, the ownership. There's a lot going wrong at Leicester right now, so it's a good time to play Leicester. Liverpool at home, obviously, you could hope for a draw. You get the table bonus for a draw and a table bonus for a win. You could hope for something in that game, but it is unlikely. Liverpool are the best team in the league, there's no doubt about it. But you never know. On a derby day, you could potentially get an upset, and Everton could definitely do some damage in that game. And the way that Everton are playing, it wouldn't be absolutely out of the question. Beyond that, it's then Crystal Palace in game week 25, which it's not a table bonus win yet. We need to see how Palace get on. They're playing literally, at the time of recording this video, literally like it within 10 minutes. So we'll see how Palace get on. If Palace win, then it could potentially be a table bonus. So yeah, if Palace do beat Brentford today, which obviously I don't know the score yet, you'll probably know this by the time you watch the video, Palace will be up to 11th in the table, and Everton being 16th. So it would be a table bonus win potentially, but obviously the situation could be absolutely different. If Brentford win, then it won't be a table winning bonus. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. It could be, depending on this Crystal Palace result, it could mean a lot too if you play David Moyes or not, because that extra points could make a big difference going into the next game. But then Everton also as well could go higher up the table themselves, with them only being now within 3 points of Man United in 13th. So it's actually very close, that Premier League table is right now. But looking at how the managers have got on so far at the time of recording this video, David Moyes is absolutely miles in front with 19 points. Iraola being the closest to him with 13 points. And that is with Bournemouth absolutely battering Nottingham Forest. And he only gets 13 points with 5 goals. David Moyes gets 19 points for a 1-0 win against Brighton, which is absolute craziness. So David Moyes is definitely a potential option. Arne Slot, we'll talk about it a bit more in detail in a minute, but he ended up getting 10 points with Liverpool's win against Ipswich. Arteta 9, Guardiola 9, Eddie Howe 9, Maresca 1, McKenna 1, and Juric 1 as well. So overall, David Moyes absolutely miles out in front. At 0.5 million, you've got to take the price into consideration as well. Obviously, you have got to be paying for these assistant managers. He's the cheapest manager you can get. And with a double game week coming up, there's definitely a question that you could be using David Moyes as the assistant manager. As for Arne Slot, he's been selected by 50% of people who's used the assistant managership already. So he's very popular going into the FPL double game week 24, which is fair enough. For me, Arne Slot, I think he's a good option this week, but I just think there's good Liverpool options as a triple up in terms of players. Like Mo Salah, of course, you're going to have. There's Trent, there's Konate at the back you can go for. And there's also Cody Gakpo up front, who's been looking very good. And even Dominic Szoboszlai putting in a good performance and coming in with big points in the last match. So for me personally, if I was to choose a triple up on Liverpool with Liverpool players or go for a double Liverpool with Arne Slot, for me, I think I'd rather just go for the Liverpool players in all honesty, and maybe go for someone who we're going to talk about in a bit potentially as a different option later down the line for the assistant managership. There's plenty of good times to potentially play it. And it depends as well, do you have your triple captaincy chip as well? If you're gonna have if you got your triple captaincy chip, I'd recommend probably playing the chip this weekend. It could be Arne Slot on assistant manager, it could be David Moyes on assistant manager. If not, I think a triple captain is a good way to go. We'll discuss Mo Salah in a bit. But Arne Slot, as I say, he's very popular in terms of assistant manager chips so far, with him being selected by half the people. Compare that to David Moyes, has been selected by 22%. So quite a bit of a difference there in ownership, with 2 people owning Arne Slot to just 1 person owning David Moyes. So Arne Slot is probably going to be the number 1 choice. But I'd imagine David Moyes, as the week goes on, I do think he'll get more and more popular, and a lot of people will be talking about him in more detail. So for me, if I was to make the choice, if you were to play your assistant manager chip, I would rather play it on David Moyes than Arne Slot and just have a triple Liverpool, because realistically, you're not going to have 3 Everton players going into the double game, but you might have maybe a defender or Pickford, and then maybe an NGI. You might, chances are you're probably going to be going in with 2 Everton players at the most, and then you're going to have 3 Liverpool players. So for me, just for that reason, David Moyes, if I was to choose one person to do this, to use this manager chip on, it would be David Moyes over Arne Slot for me personally. As I said, I think I prefer the Liverpool players to the Everton players, and it's a price as well, with David Moyes only with 0.5 million, and potential for that table winning bonus as well coming into play for 2 out of the 4 matches, maybe depending on the Crystal Palace result. So you can get a good game against Leicester. Probably you'd expect nothing against Liverpool. And then game week 25, you've got Crystal Palace, which again, as I said, could be a table winning bonus depending on how Palace get on. And then you have got Man United in game week 20, which could be a table bonus, but probably not, because United are absolutely tragic. But you have got a chance, I would say, 3 home games out of 4. I'd say you got a chance of getting results in 3 out of those 4 matches. So it's not a bad idea to go for David Moyes, in my personal opinion. But as for someone who's interested in me later down the line, maybe, for the assistant manager chip, I've made a video about it, talking about it in greater depth. We'll touch on it. It is Ange Postecoglou, if he's still in charge, who knows by then. But if Spurs beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, they're currently 1-0 up in the game, and it obviously has a second leg in February. We need to see the result of that game, but then that would mean if Spurs do go to the final, they would then get their game week 29 fixture against Fulham pushed back to game week 33, and this is where it gets very, very interesting, because you could then play your assistant manager chip in game week 31, where Ange Postecoglou and Spurs have Southampton home, which is the best fixture you can get. You'd expect Spurs to put goals past Southampton. They smashed them like 5-0 last time they played Southampton, so you'd imagine Spurs would put goals past Southampton. Then it's Wolves away, another team bad defensively, in bad form. We don't know how they're going to be in game week 32, but right now they're absolutely terrible. And then you look at it, you'd have a double game week 33 then, because the Fulham game in 29 will get pushed then to 33 in the double game. And then you'd have Nottingham Forest at home. It's a difficult fixture, but Nottingham Forest are high up in the table. It's a potential table winning bonus game, that is, because Spurs obviously being in like 13th place or 14th place, whatever they are, and they might even be 15th, you know. They're so low down in the table. It will be a table winning bonus game against Nottingham Forest, which is a massive opportunity for some big points, because I do think Spurs stand a good chance against Forest at home, in my personal opinion. And then Fulham by then could also be a table winning bonus as well. We'll have to see later on, closer to the date. But then it's another chance, and you'd say Fulham you say Spurs in them fixtures against Southampton, Wolves, Nottingham Forest and Fulham. I know it's Spurs, and I know they're an absolute, like, you can't predict what Spurs are going to do, but it's a good run of fixtures, and you get a double game week in there, and you could get some potential table winning bonuses, and we know that Spurs score a lot of goals as well. So overall, that's a very tempting option, but we just don't know that yet until Spurs play that second leg in the Carabao Cup against Liverpool. As for Mo Salah on triple captaincy, it's an interesting one. I'm going to do a video more discussing Mo Salah and Liverpool assets in the future, but we'll discuss it now. He's got a double game week against Bournemouth and then Everton, which are just okay fixtures. I mean, Everton's a better fixture than Bournemouth. Bournemouth, the way they're playing at the moment, are going to give Liverpool a real game. And Mo Salah's numbers and stats in general have just dropped off since the turn of the year. He only got a 0.35 XGI against Ipswich. He obviously came away with the contribution in the end and the bonus point, giving him an 8-pointer. But then previous to that, against Brentford, not great stats and no return. Nottingham Forest again, good, decent enough stats, but no return again. And then United, he only scored a penalty as well. So his stats recently haven't been as impressive as what they have been in the past, in 2024 and at the start of the season. His numbers just aren't quite as good, and he isn't getting the returns as well to go with it. And with a tough double game week, it's a tough decision, but if you've got all your chips available, I would be strongly recommending playing a chip this week, as I say, just because you've got your free hit to play at some point, which you're going to probably in a blank game. You might want to bench boost in a double game week. You've got a wild card to play. You've still got your assistant manager chip, and as well as that, you've obviously got the triple captaincy chip, and there's not going to be that many double game weeks, and there's not going to be that much, there's not really going to be enough time to play all your chips in that time. So a double game week opportunity for this week is probably an opportunity to play at least one of your chips, in my personal opinion. As for my personal team, I'm just going to be not using any chips this week. I've already played my triple captaincy like a muppet in game week 9 on Erling Haaland, who played against Southampton and only got 6 points. I don't think it, for me, the assistant manager chip, if I'm considering on anyone, it's obviously going to be David Moyes. I've already got triple Liverpool, but I'm not absolutely ruling it out. But for me, I'm probably going to hold off and wait for maybe a double game week later on down the line. But David Moyes' assistant manager chip to me isn't even a bad option in the slightest. So for me, I've currently got 3 Liverpool players already. So obviously, Arne, I'm not considering in the slightest. As I said earlier, I think I prefer having 3 Liverpool players over 2 Liverpool players and a manager personally. And then we have currently Jordan Pickford as our Everton double game week player, and we might change that out for, we might get rid of Jacob Greaves, who's on my bench, and then bring in Mikalenko, then go for a double up on the Everton back line, and then we'll have 5 double game week players. So let me know what you're thinking. Are you thinking of using your assistant manager chip? Let me know in the comment section down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you've watched this point. You may as well hit subscribe. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.